Good afternoon. My name is Joseph Lloyd and I source cars for people on a professional basis. Although most of the cars I source are between £1,000 and £5,000, very often I've been asked to show something a little bit cheaper on the channel, and so I came up with No Budget Reviews, the series where we look at cars that you can buy in good condition with an MOT for under £1,000 and you can enjoy driving. We don't film this in an expensive manner, we don't use separate microphones, we don't use fluid head tripods, we don't even use a DSLR, but we do have a lot of fun. So viewers, some of you probably don't even know that I've had an E46 BMW on the channel before, but that was a long time ago. Same engine as this one, the 3-litre 330i SE. The Touring is a bit different from the Saloon because you didn't get as many engine options, and all of them until 2003 were in SE trim. Until 1999, the E46 Touring actually continued alongside the Saloon. When this car was launched, I think it was sort of the latter half of 1999. There were only a couple of models available. One of them was a 318 and then a 328, which is a very short-lived one. But this is from a bit later on. It's immediately before the facelift that occurred in 2001 on a Y-plate, a 330i SE with lots and lots of options. It looks good actually with these alloy wheels. I'm probably knowing what this car costs in the region of £38,000 new. Those alloy wheels would have been an option. It is an elegant car. I mean, you can pick these up very, very cheaply. If you found like a 316i or a 318 or a 320, then you can get them for No Budget Reviews money. Often they're very tatty and rusty. This one is not. It is not tatty and rusty at all. And amazingly, this is like a winter car. This is the other one that Merv, who owns this car, has, which I filmed in this very car park in October, is a lovely Alfa 159 Sport Wagon. But knowing how those rust, wisely decided to not use that during the winter, so we got this one. One thing you can do with these, and I hope I get this right, is open the tailgate glass separately so you can put the shopping in. That is a feature that the 3 Series Touring has had for a really, really long time. I seem to remember that my mother's 2 E91 3 Series Tourings, that we can't talk about on the channel, had that feature as well, which is the next model on from this one. So open up the boot. See, we've got 435 litres of space, which for a car of this era, thinking about the estate models, is not too bad. If you're comparing it against something like a W203 C-Class, or say S203 technically, or the Audi A4 Avant, be sort of a comparable size to that. Probably maybe a little bit more stylish, I don't know. Styling is very particular anyway. Let's take a look under here and see if we've got the spare wheel. It's probably under there, but we're going to have to take about 1 million things out to actually get to it, so we won't do that. But we can see we've got underfloor storage as well, so quite practical. Saloon's not too bad actually. The boot's very deep on those, but this is even better. The low blind's still here, which is absolutely fantastic. This car's actually in really, really nice condition. And because today is so much less nice than I was last here in October with that Alfa, I'm loath to kind of get in and get my muddy feet all over these seats, but I'm going to have to because I've asked permission. So let's see if it's as cramped in here as I remember those 2 saloons being. But I've put on the channel, one of which I cannot talk about, viewers, I'm afraid, because we don't talk about diesels on this channel. Yeah, headroom's pretty good. The driving position set up for Merv. This isn't mine. He's probably taller than me actually, and it's okay. You can sit a bit more upright than you can in the saloon, so it's better for the family. It's okay. I'm not sure I want to do too long a journey in here, but it's all right. And we have this little roller thing here. Show me a cigarette lighter in there. You can use the 12-volt socket. Very, very useful for this time of year. The emergency high visibility vest, and if you're going on abroad, then you could do that as well. Funnily enough, the centre armrest seems to be integrated into the headrest. I'm going to have to sort of pause a second whilst I pull that out, because that looks a bit awkward to do. Yeah, I'm going to use 2 hands for that. We'll see that in a second. No door pockets in the back. We have swathes and swathes and swathes of grey leather. The last 330i E46 I filmed had a beige leather interior. This one has a grey leather interior, but it does also have lashings and lashings of wood, even on the steering wheel. And we've got cruise control. And we've got a climate control, and we've got, is that sat nav, viewers? We'll have to take a look at that. I've got a colour screen. All the luxury features. If you were looking at a 316, something like that, you might have just kind of windy windows in the back and things like that, but we don't have windy windows here because we like luxury. And we've got a sunroof. Very, very nice, viewers. One thing I'm just going to go and have a look in the boot for is a CD changer. So we've got one of those. Viewers, not only have we got sat nav, we've also got a 6 CD changer. It's all complicated in here though. The E46 was one of the first cars I think BMW made. The E39 was another one where there's just miles and miles and miles of wiring in it. So it starts to get a bit more complicated, a bit more like a modern car. Right, we'll also fold down that centre armrest as well whilst we're here. Right, viewers, there we go. So if you have the armrest down, clearly of course you're not needing the central passenger seat if you've got the armrest down, and it kind of also flips out some cup holders. Well, that's quite clever, isn't it? There's no, you throw a ski hatch in here because a saloon, you could get a ski hatch. See if this, yes, oh no, it's a solid one, this one. You could get a ski hatch on some models because the saloon one that I filmed in 2021 had the ski hatch. Right, sorry. This is why Merv, who owns this car, does not use the original mats most of the time. He's got a set of black ones because if it's the winter, you kind of you get your nasty feet all over them. But there we go. Still, at this era of BMW, the centre console is angled towards the driver. It's very obvious that it is. This does have the sat nav in it, which we'll look at in a second. We've got the climate control, which is not dual zone, but that doesn't really matter. And then we've got some compartments here. For some reason, on the other one I filmed, there was another compartment down here, but I think what's happened is because we've got this colour screen here, the radio is moved down a bit. It's a double din or even bigger maybe unit here. And so this climate control panel is moved down as well. So we've only got one storage area there with the cigarette lighter. And we've got sport mode. Electric window switches are in the middle, as they are on a lot of cars designed in the 1990s. This came out in 1999, so that makes perfect sense. We've got centre console for all sorts of things, and for some reason in this car the centre armrest thing isn't actually disintegrating, which is good. It's actually all holding together nicely. So there we go, controls for the stereo, controls for the cruise control, and again, as the previous car, no automatic lights or wipers for some reason. Maybe they were another option that you'd have to pay for. It is just all the other options for this car. We won't touch the sunroof, we don't want to get leaks on. We do have some door pockets, and we've got in this car the side airbags, so I have to remind myself in the back if it's got rear side airbags too, because that was possible to get on some of these. Glove box I'll check in a second. I think my secret mission documents possibly might go in there, but actually I don't know, we'll have to see. Yeah, it's all very nice quality in here. You know, BMW interiors of this time were generally pretty good. The E39 interior is lovely. It all seems to make a lot of sense. Very good driving position. Little organ accelerator pedal down there and a footrest. A lot of you will want to have a manual gearbox, one of these. I don't really mind. I like automatics and manuals. I've just noticed it, the stereo is by Harman Kardon. That's exciting, viewers. Right, let's take a look under the bonnet, shall we? So, one of the things you can notice about this is the engine's quite long. It's a 6-cylinder 3-litre in this, known as the M54 engine from memory. And one of the spark plugs looks very, very inaccessible, sort of back at the back there, which is going to be a bit of a pain. If you obviously had a 4-cylinder one, the engine wouldn't nearly be as long. Well, obviously used these days, really, most of the cars having front-wheel drive transverse layout. This is rear-wheel drive longitudinal, so it is a bit different. So it's a little bit difficult in some ways, although the oil filter is the easiest thing in the world. There it is. So yeah, generating in this application about 228 horsepower in the 330i, which was the most powerful E46 touring. Obviously, probably if you really wanted to, you could put an M3 engine in here, but that wasn't what we got in this country anyway. Right, I think it's time to go for a little spin, viewers. Disappointing. It's a nice feedback on the wheel of one of these, actually. You can immediately feel with the steering in this car, that's something that I noticed with the last couple that I drove, that the steering is really, really precise and direct. So we'll just go on to road and try not to go sideways, which is very possible with one of these. 228 brake horsepower through the rear wheels. That's not even in the sport mode, that's the normal. I recommend exercising a bit of restraint in this car, viewers. So the base engine in this one was a 1.8 litre badged as a 316i with 115 horsepower. That actually was a 60 valve unit. I think it used the Valvetronic system. When the car was launched in 1999, there was a choice of two engines. There was a 1.9 litre engine for the 318i. It's very confusing. 118 horsepower. Later on in 2001, that was actually a 2 litre engine with 143 horsepower. There was also a very short-lived 328i, which actually was a 2.8 litre engine with 190 horsepower. That was replaced in 2000 with the 330i, which is this one with 228 horsepower. There was also at that point a 325 launch with 189 horsepower, and then also in 2000 there was a 320i, but that actually is a 2.2 litre engine, and that had 170 horsepower. There are also some diesels available, but as usual, due to controversial government legislation and all kinds of other reasons, we don't talk about diesels on this channel. What we do talk about is the way that this car just loves to flow through the corners. It's like a 325 or even like a 320 for me would be absolutely fine. I have heard that actually these cars also got the earlier 316i engine, which was much less powerful, and also the earlier 320 engine, but when I cross-checked that I couldn't actually find reference to that. Obviously the saloon's got those engines. Yeah, the steering is just superb in this. The engine makes a really great noise and it sort of shoves you back in your seat. 0 to 60 in this, the automatic one's a bit slower than the manual, but it's still in a region of about 7 seconds, which is utterly crazy. I can well understand if you've got a manual gearbox, and this is an absolute sort of track day hero car. I'll go around this roundabout here. We won't go too quickly. I mean, we're not even in the sport mode, we're in the just normal mode, very carefully, but you can just feel it weighted up very, very precisely, and it's just a real sort of driving machine, this, as the advertising used to say. It reminds me very much of the Lexus IS 200 that I had on the channel quite recently, and actually there's no surprise to that, because Lexus were very much with that car emulating the 3 Series. That also is rear-wheel drive and also wants to go sideways and has a 6-cylinder engine. It's amazing actually how similar this feels in the way that it drives to the saloon. I imagine maybe the coupe and the compact will maybe feel a bit lighter and maybe a bit better, but it just sort of gathers pace really, really quickly. Let's try the sport mode. That's even faster. I don't want to lose my licence, viewers, but I imagine many people have lost their licences in E46s, particularly with 3-litre engines. So that's the legal limit, viewers. I hope we'll slow down a bit and put it back into a normal mode. That's what we'll do. We've had our fun, but at sort of lower speeds, the car's still really refined, really quiet. The ride's not too firm. These are optional wheels, actually. They're a bit bigger than the standard ones would be, but they look really good. I can't believe that you can pick these up still for under £1,000. I mean, nothing as nice as this. This car's worth an awful lot more than that. It's only got 54,000 miles on it as well. And you know, I can see why Merv absolutely loves this. He's had it for about 10 years and it's in superb condition. I'm just sorry that I've got mud all over his mats. In 2003, 2 other models of the E46 Touring were available. The ES, which was a bit sort of lower than the SE, but with quite a lot of good equipment, and then the Sport model. This, I'd say, is equivalent more to a Sport, although, of course, that didn't appear for a couple of years after this car was made. So, viewers, should you consider a E46 BMW 3 Series Touring for your hard-earned budget up to £1,000? The unfortunate thing is, this example is so nice, it sort of colours your judgment. I mean, the things that you'll be finding for your budget up to £1,000 will probably be a 4-cylinder model in not as good condition as this, with much higher mileage, possibly with a few bits of scabby rust on it. But you know, there are loads of people out there who work on these. They're still relatively common because they sold a lot of these. Back in the day, these were outselling the Mondeo and things like that. So actually these were very much part of the fabric of British life, and the 3 Series continues to this day. But this is the era of BMW where they really were just very set up and very focused, and they're sort of the best models of 3 Series I think were ever made, although that's probably debatable. Anyway, thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more inexpensive motoring.